Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back. So, I'm gonna be honest here. I already finished this piece. It's done. The problem is, when I stopped the recording, I forgot to save the file. I just closed it out and I didn't save it because I just had a brain fart and I didn't think of it. So I lost my recording of the original file and I tried to recover it, but it's long gone. So I'm gonna have to just start from scratch. Well, not from scratch, but and redo that entire session of recording because I don't think I have any other option. But so we're gonna do this again, but we're gonna do it even better this time. So this time, because we already did it once, I can probably streamline it and do it a lot faster. And this time we're gonna do it even better. We're gonna take those lemons and make some lemonade. We're gonna make some Photoshop lemonade. That's what we're gonna do here. All right, so take 2 on finishing SHI. So if you remember from last time, we were working on her leggings. So I am gonna continue doing that, and I'm gonna give her some knee pads. Again, I already did this once. And now I'm doing it again. So I'm going to take these here and clip them out again. All right, so let me get the other one. So let's make that selection. Paste it in. Gotta scale them down a little bit, obviously. And I have them on the same layer, so I'm just gonna cut that and paste it in. So now they're on independent layers. So I'm going to work on this one first. And I'm just going to warp it to get it to fit generally where I want it. Right about there. Looks pretty good. And I'm going to do a color overlay. Just take a sample out of the legging and just put that on color. Then I'm going to do a levels adjustment. Clip that. Just darken it up. Bring down the whites. And do a little burning. There you go. Do a little burning. Just to kind of match the darks of her leggings. And put a mask on that. And I'm just gonna blend the edges of the knee pads so they blend in with her leggings. And down here. Looks good. So let's do the same for this one. Over here. Make sure we have it lined up over the knee, right about there. And again, we're going to warp it. So I'm going to copy that layer style from the other one, paste it to that one, and I'm going to duplicate the levels and clip it to that. And put a mask on it, and just gonna blend. Once again, just blend the edge so it fades into the rest of the leg. I'll put these into a group. call it knee pads. You know, I'm gonna change the title of this group to leggings because they're not boots. Doesn't matter, but let's keep it accurate. All right, so next I'm gonna add some red ribbons to her leggings. Just as some extra added detail. So I got some reference here. This is basically the same. And this one here. So let's go over here first. And I'm just gonna grab a section of her leggings with the ribbons included. And I think I'm just gonna take that. I'm trying to think back to what I did last time. So let's copy that and bring that in. And I'm actually going to separate these into two pieces. So this will be the piece on the thigh, and this will be the piece down here on her calf. But this piece I need to rotate because the curvature on the ribbon doesn't match. Because you see on her leggings, they're kind of going this way, and here they're going this way because the leg's at a different angle. So I just need to flip it. And now the ribbons are at the right curvature. But I still need to distort it and warp it a bunch to get it to match. So I'm just going to use distort first to kind of get it the general shape I want. Then I'll go into warp to refine it a little bit more. All right. And finally, I'm going to go into liquefy just to distort it even more. I don't want to jump right into a liquefy first because liquefy is not good for doing big changes. It's only good for doing like minute tweaks here and there. So I do the major changes with distort and warp. But for minor little things, I use liquefy. Liquefy is good for just minor tweaks and adjustments. It's not good for big tweaks and big adjustments because liquefy tends to be too sensitive and you can lose the image very quickly in liquefy. It's very easy in liquefy to go too far. Whereas distort and warp, they're more controlled. All right, that was good. All right, so I'm gonna put a mask on that. And I'm just gonna do a same thing as the knee pads. Gonna fade out these edges. Like that. Just gonna fade those out. And I'm gonna make a adjustment layer of levels. Just gonna make it a little darker. And the blacks aren't quite matching. And I'm gonna do a little burning to darken some areas up. All right, so let's get this one right down here. Go back to our leggings. Let's flip that. That probably better matches the lighting a little better. Let's go to warp. And just gonna get the edges to line up as best as we can. All right, that'll work. Turn that back up. Put a mask on that. And again, just fade off the black. And let's copy these adjustment layers. Clip them. And let's do a little burning over here. All right, that looks good for that leg. So let's get some ribbons on the other leg. Let's go back to our ribbon images. And let's get like these right here. Let's paste that in over here. Again, we got to rotate it so the curvature of the ribbons match. Flip that around. Go to warp. Again, we're just lining up our edges. We can start to fade this. And I'm just gonna grab this little kind of end piece of the ribbon. Let's paste that end piece over here. And we'll just have that like hanging off the edge there. And let's grab this other edge piece here. And reflect that. And stick that maybe like there. All right, so her leggings are done, and she just needs one more detail, and then the character herself will be all finished up. So let's go back to our reference here, and she has like those like sticks in her hair. I don't know what they're called, and I'm not gonna pretend to know what they're called, but you know what I mean. She has those like sticks that some Japanese women wear in her hair, so we're gonna add that, and that'll be our last detail. So let me just grab our reference for that. So I'm just gonna clip this one out, copy that, paste it in over here. And let's clip this one out. And we're just gonna drag those in. Stick them in the back. Gotta make those smaller. Okay, so once again, I have her all done. So our character is all completely done now. And so now I'm gonna move on to the background. So for the background, we're gonna do something along the lines of this. These brush and ink paintings. Just some black brush work on some aged paper. Something along the lines of this. The first thing I'm gonna close this out. But the first thing after that means I'm gonna get some aged paper. So I got this one and this one. Let's try this one. So let's make a new group first. Just call that background. And just paste that in. Just rotate it to where we want it. You know what? Let's try this one too. Let's just see how it looks. And again, rotate to how we want it. All right, that's good for our paper. And even though she's not like in like a realistic environment, I still want to paint a shadow underneath her feet because right now she's kind of just floating. So I want to have her just look a little more grounded and not so much like she's just kind of floating on a background. So I'm gonna paint in a shadow underneath her feet. So I'm just gonna make a new layer at the bottom of her. Put a multiply. Just do a basic black for now. And I'm just gonna start painting. Let's do a low opacity. Just gonna start loose at first, and then as I go on, I'm gonna refine it a little more. Zoom out a little bit here. Got to go back in there and erase some. It's a lot of painting it in and taking it back. Painting it in and erasing it back just till we get that point where it looks good, where we want it. All right, so I don't want to get too crazy detailed with the shadow. I think that's pretty good what we have, but I want to add some color to it because right now it's just looking a little gray, and I want some of this these kind of like yellowish orange colors in the shadow so it matches a little more. So I think I'm just gonna make a selective color adjustment. Go into my blacks and just turn down the cyans. Maybe turn up the yellows. Yeah, that's better. See, here it's kind of like dull and gray, but now it's got some color in it. All right, good. So now she's got like a nice shadow, so she's more grounded, and she's not just floating on some paper. And what I'm gonna do next I'm gonna add like a watercolor sun behind her. So let me take this orange here. Let's go back to our background layer. Paste that in. Put it on multiply. Now, I think normally in these types of Japanese paintings, the sun is done as red, obviously because of, you know, the Japanese flag. But if I did it as red, I think it would fight with the reds of her costume, and I want the reds of her costume to kind of pop forward. So I'm going to do the sun like maybe like a yellowish orange. That way it doesn't distract from the reds on her costume. So I'm going to do like an adjustment layer. Actually, well, first, let me just go to my levels. Let's just see how it looks when I lighten it up. Kind of like that. You know what? I like that, yeah. I don't think I need that hue saturation, so have it like right about there, I guess. Looks good. So now I'm gonna put some like some really loose watercolor detail in the back. Alright, so let's select all of that and paste that in. Put that on multiply. And I'm going to desaturate that because I just want it black and white. I don't want that blue. And I'm going to reflect that. Let's warp it a little bit. Like have that more up there. That down there. And I have like a hard edge here where the image ended, so I'm just gonna go on dodge. And I'm just gonna dodge that till it fades off. Same down here. And so I got this image of some Japanese writing. And I think I'm just gonna very generally select that, copy it, and maybe paste that in like right there. And put that on multiply. Turn up our levels so we don't see the edge. And I think I'm going to screen that back a bunch because I don't know what that says, obviously. So I think I maybe want to use it as more of just like a graphic element. So people who don't read that and be like, well, what does that mean? That doesn't make sense. Maybe just like that. So it kind of fades into the building. All right. Let's keep it like that for now. And I want to try something else. Let's get some brush images. Got these big black brush marks, so let's see. Let's try this one. Paste that in. Make that bigger. And I don't want it black, I want it white, so I'm going to invert it, then put that on screen. And I was just thinking maybe that'll help pop her forward more. Let's try this one. Again, just going to invert it, put it on screen, so it's white. Maybe put the buildings in front of that. Let's grab another one of these black brush strokes. Again, invert it and put it on screen. All right, so let's do some color adjustments here and see what we can come up with. We can make it a little more yellow. Make the blacks a little more red. That's kind of cool. I like that. You know what? Let's try something. I'm gonna duplicate my my SHI group. I'm gonna flatten that. Then I'm gonna go to the saturate, and I'm gonna go to filter, high pass. And let's keep it out like that. I like to put on an overlay, and that just makes it a little sharper. And it might just help to make it a little more like illustrated looking. See if we duplicate that and duplicate it again and again, like it gets really like illustrated kind of looking. That's too much though. We don't want that much. Maybe even actually 1 is too much. We turn that down a bit. And I have these elements I made in the last video. Well, the video that didn't get saved and recorded. Well, it got recorded but didn't get saved. Anyway, I made these elements in that video. I just made them in Illustrator and I didn't want to have to remake them for this video, so I'm just gonna reuse them. And unfortunately, you're just gonna have to miss out on the process of making these. They were very simple, so you're not missing much. So anyway, this is like my signature logo, but I did it kind of in a Japanese style, just so it fit the whole feel of the piece. So I'm gonna stick that like right about there. And I also made, I'm not sure if I want it, but I made like her name in like a Japanese style kind of font. So maybe we put that like right about there. I don't want to go too crazy with like the graphical elements because it's going to get to a point where it's just a little too busy and it takes away from the character. And I think we might be getting to that point. Stop doing that. I think we might be getting to that point soon. So I don't want to go overboard. It's a little kind of messy down here, so tell you what I'm gonna do. Make a new layer and put on overlay. Just paint in with white, just to break up some of that black mess I have down here. This kind of black ink painting in the back is kind of distracting me. So let's see, I'm gonna pick kind of like a natural, it's like a generic natural brush. That should work. And I just want to see how it looks. I just kind of paint like an outline over her legs or behind her legs. You know, this brush is a little too crazy for me, so let's do something simpler. Maybe here too. So I think I'm gonna call this one finished. I'm gonna call it done, and this time I'm gonna make sure to save the recording when I finish, because I am not doing this a third time. Absolutely not. So thank you for watching, and take care.